welcome to this session, which is going to be a talk by Mark. Well, Mark and Carl jointly are the proprietors of Trainsporters, which is if I got this correct, it's a storage and transporting system for your safe transportation and storage of your models. I'm duty bound before we start to read a couple of points, which is that the recording, the sessions, this and all other sessions today are being recorded. So if anybody doesn't want their face to appear on the recording, you have the option of switching off your video. Also, if there is anybody who is of juvenile age, then you are deemed to have had parental consent to be filmed. This is a legal obligation that we in KJUK will have to abide by. Questions and answers. If you want to ask any questions, you'll see there is a chat facility down the bottom of the screen. Depending on how many people we have participating, it's probably best to use the chat facility. Just type in your question, and then Mark, who is hiding behind the scenes, will pick these questions off and direct them towards Carl, who's going to be actually doing the physical demonstration. I think that's all I need to tell you. Oh yes, could you all please mute yourselves so that we don't have any extraneous noise that tends to interrupt, because whoever is talking comes up on the screen. If you're on gallery view, which is probably the best one to be on, then the person doing the talking, he is full screen. And if you haven't got your microphones muted, it means that every time somebody slams the door or dog barks or phone rings, it switches to that person. So it's a bit disconcerting to the presenter. Anyway, we'll hand over to you, Carl, to talk us through your demonstration.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys. Thanks again for inviting us to one of your shows again. Of course, it was a year ago that we was at Kettering. It was our very first show, and also our very last one until. But that's the way things have gone recently. I hope things will change. It sounds like things are starting to move along a little bit better for us now. But this gives us really good opportunity for us to show the boxes as they are, what goes in the boxes, how they're used, different diversities of boxes, just to give you an idea of exactly what we do. So without further ado, we won't waste any more time. We'll just show you as much content as we can within the next 45 minutes. Just to say that this content may contain nuts there at the side of me. And we do not have any goats in this video as well. So without further ado, in front of me, we have one of our boxes. This is the 33 litre box for the O gauge. We do double O gauge boxes as well. So we'll go through those towards the end just to give people, because we know that different people have different gauge layouts as well. It's not just O gauge or just double O gauge. Some people diverse in different gauges as well. So the box, secure lids on the boxes. So when you do transport them, it's securely safe, so you don't have the chance of anything falling out of the boxes. On all of our lids, we have the labeling, so it gives you the chance to show what's inside the box. So you can write that in yourself. We will always provide, if you wanted to provide some more sleeves as well to go in there. So if you had any mistakes or you choose to change the box content, we always make sure we've got that available to you. It's also labeling the same size, just to give you an idea of what you've got in your boxes, so that when you do stack the boxes, you know exactly what is inside without having to search for them, which can be really inconvenient. So the whole idea is to make the content and the purpose of the box as convenient and as quick as possible. So there's the lid. We'll take the lid off with the label. And then we remove the first layer of foam, which secures the top of the stock, which is in the box. Okay. Now inside the box, you have 4 slots. Now we have different measurements for the boxes as regards to the width. Some people like a tighter fit to their stock. Other people like it a little more loose. So the original boxes that we produced were 61 mil in width, and then the latter boxes became 68 millimeters in width. So it just depends on what you're putting in the stock as well. So I would say that the 61 millimeter slots are good for wagons. We do have a member of our club that has some Caledonian stock, which fits into the 61 mil box as well, which the 61 mil box of this size, 33 litre, is on the blue label. All our contents, the boxes are labelled into different colour codes as well as coded, just to make things a little bit easier for ordering or for you to understand what box is needed for yourself. So in this box here, it's the red box, which is the TSO31. This is in regards to the depth of the foam. Top foam, the sheet foam is 15 mil. And then the base layer that we split the layers of the foam to make easy access, and everything, all the blocks that come out of the boxes are pre-cut. So if you wanted to block any bit of stock in that could be quite loose, you can just put that into wherever the slots are, and it just makes things so that it doesn't stop anything from moving around. So just remove that. I don't know if you did see that, to make sure that's demonstrated again. So you can, those just snap off, but they're just pre-cut just to make things more easy. But you can cut those really easily with a good quality knife. And it's also been recommended that if you want to get a good cut foam from that, use some silicone spray as well. So the box again, there's the slots. We've got 3 Ellis Clark coaches in here. To show you how simple it is to take the coaches or the stock out of the box. It's as simple as moving out the stock. The stock is put in the cellophane tubing, which makes it easier to slide the stock in and out of the boxes. You don't have to use that, but that's there. We've given you the tools. It's just however you use them, really. So it's easy as that, out of the box. Now, we did demonstrate this a little bit earlier today, and it went really well, and it just slid out. So let's see if I can do that again. No, we said that would happen, didn't we? So there you go. Slide straight out to the track, and it's as simple as that. No unpackaging or unclasping clams or anything like that. It's just within seconds the coach is out of the box, and you can play trains basically. Demonstrate that going back into the box again using the sleeve. Just roll it back in, and that works a little bit more easily as well. The demonstration bit. There you go, back in the track, and you see the way I hold the carriage with my fingers at the end, just to make sure that the carriage doesn't slip out of the sleeving as well, because that's one thing you don't want to do, because the whole point of this is to make sure your stock is safe and secure. Back into the slot, simple as that, job done.
Do you just want to, while you're there, Cole, do you just want to take that top layer off to show people how easy it helps with the access?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. As I said, we split the actual main blocks of the foam to make it easier for access. So when you, just to demonstrate that again, there's the block that you would have supplied with the foam when you get it. So if you take that out, that's 35 millimeters in depth, that is. And same goes for the top layer. So we remove that. So you've got these slots. And then what you'll find is that it does show the stock a little bit more prominent from the main base foam, to make it easier for taking the stock out with the fingers or using the sleeving. Just as simple as that. We do. This is the red box that we've got. We do have a green design box, which is slightly shallower than this, and it will show the stock, which is a little bit more prominent from the main base foam. So I'll put that all back. Simple as that. Top layer blocks in. Top layer foam. And back on there. what I'm going to show you right now is what the stock looks like inside the boxes, just to give you an idea of the different depths, just to give you a clear indication of what can go in the box and how easy accessible it is to take things out of the box.
So, Carl, we've had a question come in while you're doing it.
Okay.
We've had a question come in asking which of the options would be best for wagons. Can you just, you'll be able to show us that
Yeah,
when
well,
you're on that?
Perfect timing, whoever that was. Let's move this out of the way. We've got that in good view there, Mark, at all, have we?
Yeah, can you come a bit closer to the camera?
Close to the camera?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. So this side view shows you the foam inside the boxes. As regards to wagons, if you've got wagons, which is like a 16-ton mineral wagon or loaders.
Carl, what I think we ought to tell everybody is that the one that you've got your hand on at the moment, that's an example of our 20 litre
Yes,
height box, and then the others are the 33 litre.
that's right. Yeah. So the first one I've got my hand on, yes, that's a 20 litre box, which is slightly shallower than the 33 litre box. Say that could be used for 16-ton mineral wagons, bogie bolsters, anything that's quite low, or say free plank, yeah, or flat wagons. That's absolutely perfect for that. So take that out, and then actually what I won't do, sorry, because we got the different widths as regards to wagons. The 20 litre box, the actual width for the foam is 61 millimeters. We found that was much more successful for holding wagons in there. And then when we go back to the 33 litre box, then we do another box which is the same as the 20 litre, which is 33 litres. It's 18 millimeters in depth and another 35 on top. And that's demonstrated by this one here with the Great Western Wagon. That will take box vans, mineral wagons, and anything at all really, which is slightly larger than the 16-ton mineral wagons. So that those two boxes will be fantastic for wagons of that sort. So
what you're saying there, Carl, then is, if I've got you right, you've got the width is the same, 61
millimeters is the width of the slot,
but depending on the height of the wagon, you either go for a 20 litre box or a 33 litre box, because that'll allow it to be clamped slightly better for transit.
Definitely. But the other alternative with the boxes is that because we've got the splits layer in the main base layers of the foam, you can actually be very clever with this, where you can have a mixture of wagons. So if you have a 33 litre box, which is the blue, and you have it permanently for wagons, but you will have a mixture of smaller wagons, 16-ton mineral wagons, once again smaller, you can actually use the top layer, which we showed earlier, and you can take that and remove all the other blocks, put that into the lower part of the slot, and raise the height of the slot, and then put the wagon on top there and mix it in with other wagons. So when it comes to access, it's easy to remove instead of having to reach too deep. To show you that clearly, instead of having to reach into the slot to dive in, you've got that extra height to remove the stock.
So that makes it much easier to get it in and out. Okay,
yeah,
that's great.
So it's different diversities, however you use it. I say that in that way, the blue box, which is the 33 litre depth box, you can use that for all different types of stock, whereas the 20 litre box is primarily for just low loaders. So you can use whatever you want as regards to contents. Okay, then if we move on from the wagons, I hope that has actually cleared up the question that you had. Once again, if you have any other questions through this, please give us your questions through this. When I always...
There is one other question I'd like to ask.
Okay.
Is, how many wagons would you normally get in a 20 litre box?
Depending on the wheelbase of the wagons, each slot you can get 3 to 4 wagons in a slot. So you've got 4 slots in your boxes, whether it's 20 litre or 33 litres. you should be able to get 3 to 4 wagons in. Once again, it just depends on the wheelbase, really.
And the length of those slots is 560 mil, is that right?
That's right, yeah. And just out of interest, as regards to new products that are coming out, we have found out with the Ellis Clark press flow wagons, we found out we should be able to get 4 of those into each slot of our boxes as well.
So a nice rake of those.
Nice rake of those.
And maybe a couple of locomotives if you're going to run an exhibition or something like that with them.
Yeah, well, you could quite clearly, you could get almost a full train in one of our boxes, depending on what sort of size and length that you want to produce the train that's in the boxes, really. So you won't have too many boxes to actually have to sort of lug about, so to speak.
I think that's possibly another thing to mention, Carl, is that we are looking to at some point introduce train sets. So that's an example. The press flow would be a great example of.
Yeah, that's what we're looking to in the future. We will be producing a box which will have, it can either be the actual train and then you choose a locomotive to go into the box, or it could be a locomotive and a whole train. That's what we're looking to do. So it's simply a train in the box.
It'd be completely prototypical.
Prototypical, yeah.
And it might have a mix of wagons and locos from different manufacturers. So
yeah, we'll mix and match, because of course not any one manufacturer produces all the wagons or the stock that you want. So it will be a mix and match of different companies to produce something that you would like to see prototypically, or you would like to have in your collection.
And then I think the original boxes will be supplied as well, and they can be popped up in the loft, and everything can be safely stored in the Trainsporters boxes for storage and transportation. Yeah,
as regards to the boxes, as well as when you store your boxes, we do have silica gel in the boxes. So, and we know that many of our customers at present either got their stock in purpose-built buildings in their gardens, lofts, or in a basement and stuff like that. So it's with the silica gel, it does have a color changing pigment in there, so it gives you an indication if any moisture is getting to the box, so you can make sure that sort of you know what's going on with your stock. Nobody wants any rusty stock, of course. To go through, we've moved from the wagons, give you an idea of coaches and locomotive stock that will go into the boxes. The side-on view, once again, give you an indication of the same sorts of principles. Here is a Great Western rail coach, and on 68mm slot for that. The depth for the main base slot is 60mm on the that's the TSO 32, which is our green box. So yeah, so 60mm depth main block, 35mm on the top, and that will show you the slot with the stock in it. So once you remove the second layer of foam from your box, once again, it exposes parts of the stock that's in the slot, and that gives you easy access in and out of the slot. So it just gives you more of an idea of how it is to take the trains in and out of the boxes, and what we've done to make that as easy as possible, really. Same thing with a locomotive.
Carl, there's another question coming. Let me just read this out. If I got a box for 4 coaches, is there enough room, or is there enough foam to pack out the ends to stop movement? So do you just want to show that that length of foam with these slits in it again?
Yeah. Okay, we'll just move that away. Okay. Right. So putting the box over to you. So this is the box that we started with. And as I say, you got the 2 different layer foams. So each of those layer foams will have the blocks in with pre-cut blocks inside. And so they are pre-cut, and you can choose one of those. Or if it's not appropriately the size that you need, say it's very easy to cut the foam to your requirements, or any shapes, angles, whatever you want to do.
Some people put a step in them, don't they?
Some people put a step in them,
for the
yeah.
buffers and the
Yeah.
couplings.
That's what they'll do. So I don't know if you can see it. We did demonstrate it in this way. Say that's the end on. You could have the block so that it's just covering, so it exposes and just keeps all the buffers and the any pipe work or couplings free from any sort of possible damage.
Show that side on, would you, pal, with the camera? It didn't show up.
Does it show there? So you can do it just like that.
Degrees. Turn it. That's
Okay,
yeah.
There you go. So just like that.
Yeah.
So the foam that we just shown is, say that's the top layer of the foam for the red box, which is the TS031 in the red label. What we've done with the Ellis Clark coaches, there's the main base foam there, and you see once again it's pre-cut, so you can cut it to whatever size that you want.
Yeah.
With
so
the,
you've got plenty of foam. In fact, the foam, that when the boxes arrive,
yeah,
the box is completely full of foam. There aren't any gaps. You just take out the foam that you want to make the gap for whatever you're putting in there, a wagon or a coach or a locomotive, and then you pull it apart. That goes in the box, and then you've got a safe, secure slot for your locomotives.
absolutely. I'll tell you what we do. If we can actually show a box with the full content, that would be really good. To show people exactly what you get when you receive your box or pick up your box. Yeah, lovely. Thank you, Tony. So, as we showed the box at the beginning, there you go, all your labelling. You have a side label, which this one doesn't have. If Tony could try and find me one of those boxes with the side labels, so you can see those. Your handles, once again, really great. They are very lockable. If I had just hold the lid alone, I know what that lid's going to come off because they're very secure.
Mention the boxes we use are made by a company called Really Useful Products,
yep,
or the Really Useful Box Company, made in the UK, where possible, made of recycled plastic as well, so
user friendly, yeah,
environmentally friendly where possible. But most of the, apart from the foam, everything is manufactured in the UK. The foam is cut in the UK, and the boxes are assembled by us in our warehouse in Kent. So where possible, everything's made.
It's top layer.
right, okay, lovely, thank you very much. Did we have any silica gel at all? It's in the corner, right, there you go. Okay. So when you open your box up, you'll have the clear sleeving that we produce. Once again, with the sleeving, you can either use it as the tubes to insert the stock inside, or if you want to, you can cut it into sheets. Once again, we've given you the tools. It's however you use it to remove that. So that's enough sleeving there for all the stock that will go in one box, and that is that goes in every single box that we do, 00, O gauge, whatever it is. The silica gel is, I don't know if you can see that clearly on the camera at all, Mark.
Yeah, that's okay.
That will change, that will clearly show a colour change if there's a problem with any moisture where the box is kept, just to give you an indication if there's a problem. So you'll have 4 of those in the O gauge boxes. Top layer foam. So that's your foam as you have it inside the box. And if we remove that, that's the top layer with the cutouts. Just remove those silica gels, they're sliding everywhere. So that's all part of the 35mm foam on the top of the box there. And then on this particular box, I think is this the 60? Which one was this, Tony? Was this
That's the
green one?
So you, shall I just
60
read it out?
millimeters.
Yeah, what we've done with that particular box, we made the base layer and the top layer slightly thicker for people that might put more heavier product in there, locomotives, that kind of stuff. It's 25mm, the top and the base layer. And then the middle sections add up to 95mm. and that's split as a 60 and a 35. So you've got 4 layers there. You've got a bottom layer of 25, the lower middle layer, which is 60 mil, the upper middle layer, which is 35 mil, and then the top layer, which is 25 mil. And so you've got enough variation in there for whatever you want, wagon or coach or locomotive wise. And you just pull those inserts apart to hold the product securely when it's in there. I think, Carl, what we ought to do at the moment is a couple of things. Anybody that's interested can see a lot of this information on our website, which is trainsporters.com. So there's quite a lot of information on the website that gives the dimensions and shows some examples of how people have used our product in the past. And we're waiting to add some additional videos. There's a couple of videos in there at the moment. We have 7 variations of box in our product range at the moment. We have 5 for the O gauge group. We have the blue, the red and the green. They're the 33 litre boxes. We have 2 20 litre boxes, the yellows and the whites. Most of the variations go, as Carl said earlier on the width of the slot. The length of the slots are all the same at 560 millimeters. And then finally, for anybody that's mixed gauge, we also have double O gauge boxes. We have an orange and a purple, and again we have different heights of foam in the middle of the purple one to make access easier. It's interested in purchasing one of our products today, there is a special discount offer of 10% for everything that's purchased, and the code for that, you'll be asked for a code, and the code for that is GOG06. So gauge O guild 06 for, or 06 for the 6th of March. So have a look at the website, and if you're interested in anything, as we say, there is a 10% discount being offered today for any of the products that anyone wants to purchase.
Carl and Mark, I've actually got your website up on my screen. Shall I just share screen for a couple of minutes so that people can see it?
That would be lovely if you can. And then what I'll do is I'll guide you onto the various pages, Dave, and maybe we can just show people how to navigate the website. It's an e-commerce website, so you can order from the website as well. So anyone that wants to order, pop on there, and the boxes are generally delivered, or sorry, should I say generally dispatched within 48 hours. As you can see behind Carl, there is a significant number of boxes waiting for shipment.
That's up there
for anybody. So oh yeah, great. So that's an early video. So so Dave, let's have a look at what page that's. So there's some examples there of what Carl has been describing around the different layers and the different dimensions. As he mentioned to you earlier on, the boxes are all color coded to make it easier, and they're also numbered. So the Trainsporters, so TSO for O gauge, TSO20 are 20 litre, or TS20 or 21 are the 20 litre boxes for the lower versions of the O gauge boxes, and then you've got the 33 litre boxes as well, and we've got the green, the blues and the reds in the 33 litre box variants. And you can see, thank you Dave, that's brilliant. We're scrolling up and you can see you've got all of your dimensions there. You've got the code that you've got there, the bill of materials code, you've got the color. So but when you go to the order page, all you do is you click on the box that you want and it automatically sends the right version to us, so we know what to ship. Being men of simple minds, we've color coded it to make our lives a lot easier. They come in their own cardboard packages. We pack up to 3 boxes in a single box, and we've improved the packaging in recent months, because we were finding that there were one or two transit issues with the handling of the boxes by some of the couriers. So we've added an extra layer of cardboard inside the box as well to make life a lot easier or to make the box's life a lot easier in transit. We care about these boxes. We check everyone individually before it's shipped out to make sure it's 100% before it leaves. But clearly, sometimes in transit, there's the inevitable bit of damage. But not that much anymore, given that we've now added an extra layer of protection in it. If you could go to the shop, please, Dave.
Yep. Hang on, that's the home page, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're advertising you.
Oh, look, there's a Joe Guild virtual show on today.
Ah,
That would be interesting.
and if you can see that there's the 10% saving is offered there. And then all you do is you click on the product that you want, and that automatically adds it to the basket. You can see all of the variants there, the O's and the double O gauge variants that we do. It's very simple, and that comes through to us instantaneously. You can pay either on PayPal or via credit card on the website itself. And as I say, it's typically shipped within 24 hours or 48 hours worst case scenario. There have been some issues. The actual unit is quite close to Manston Airport, which is where obviously all the lorries are being stacked up because of Brexit at the moment and people being tested for their COVID jabs. And sometimes it's not as easy to get to the distribution point as we would like it to be. But we work our way between the articulated trucks, and we gradually get there and get them off as quickly as we can. The other pages, we're gradually filling them up with information, about us and news and that kind of stuff. We've got a colleague, Phil, who helps us out a great deal with that, and he's a youngster, so he knows how these things work. And we're one of the things that we do pride ourselves in is listening to feedback. So we're building quite a nice little community of users now, and anybody that's got any feedback whatsoever about the boxes, it's really welcomed. And where possible, we will make adjustments. We're looking at, for example, the option of selling just the foam inserts themselves for those people that already have the plastic boxes. And we had an interesting inquiry the other day around the model aircraft fraternity to see if there's something that we could do for them. The other market that we're looking at is sort of slot cars and that kind of stuff as well, where you've got more of a consistent size. The aircraft one might be a bit difficult given the variation in the size is much greater than with model railways, for example. So
would you like me to come back to the demo now?
Yeah, I think please, Dave, if you don't mind.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you for that. We've got one last thing to show everybody. Carl's going to show that we do two box types. We do the clear box and we do this white box.
Yeah, the white box that we show you here in front, we do the two types. So the two main boxes that we actually use is 20 litre, which is the shallower box, and 33 litre, which is the more prominent box, which you can put any stock in. The white box is stronger. It doesn't mean to say that the box is any small in any way, shape or form. It's just a stronger plastic, a little bit more rigidity to it. Some people prefer this, especially if you've got very expensive hand-built locomotives that goes in them, and they're just that little bit worried about those. It's just more rigidity. The only drawback with the box is regards to labeling. We can stick a label on the top of the lid. We do have the side labels which go on the side. Have to find another way of sticking those on the outside, whereas everything goes inside the boxes as regards to labeling, whether that's the side or the actual lid labels. But yeah, it just, once again, it all depends on people's preferences. But as I hope that we've covered everything we possibly can as regards to making sure that we've looked into every avenue to make sure people get exactly what they want from the product. And as Mark said, If there's anything that you think we've overlooked, or you've got an idea of your own that you think might help us along, please get in touch with us. Once again, the website. We're happy to speak on the telephone as well. We do like a chat on the telephone. Our number is 033 340 40811. Give us a call anytime. If we don't pick up the phone instantaneously, we will always make sure that we get back to you as quickly as we possibly can as well. So it's not just the website. Of course, we want to get out into the shows as well, meet and greet people. We know we can't do that. So alternatively, if you don't want to go on the website, if you want to give us a chat, speak to us, we will gladly pick up the telephone, chat to you, and speak to any queries or inquiries that you may have.
One of the interesting, we had one guy that was very interested in putting 4 of the class 50 Helgians in, and as many of you know, they're not particularly light locomotives, and no problem. He chose the white box, and he's just happy as Larry with those. It works very well for him. It's a very, very strong solution for.
Actually, just very quickly, if I show you the bottom of the boxes, it will just give you an idea. It's honeycombed, so the strength is definitely there. There's a little bit of play there, but don't worry about that. That's perfect strong. But just to go show you the strength that goes in the boxes. There's nothing that we wouldn't produce that we wouldn't have any confidence in, and we've got full confidence in what we produce as regards to the boxes, the foam, and the boxes themselves. We wouldn't use any other product otherwise.
And can you tilt that slightly towards the camera,
Yeah.
Carl?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
from this, no, tilt it back a bit.
Is that any better?
Can't actually see the honeycomb.
Right. Sorry.
We're getting a reflection of something on there.
There we go. Can you see?
That's it. Yeah, got it now.
Right.
Really good. Yep. Thank you.
And that's on the clear boxes as well as the white boxes, which are really extra strong as well. Okay. Great. So do we have any more questions at all?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
There was another question asking, what's the difference between the red and the green boxes?
The red and the green. Well, the red is the deeper box. If I show you, if we've got this on camera still, that shows you what the red box is. You can see that more clearly?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what the red box would look like. So you've got the extra bit of foam just there. This one here in the middle, that's the green foam. So that's almost actual height on the green one for your stock, whereas the other one just gives you that little bit of extra height on there.
The width is the same, is it, Carl?
Yeah, sorry, the width, both those boxes, the slots are 68 millimeters width. The actual slot length, once again, is 560. It's just where we've played with the depth of the actual slots.
And for anyone that's interested in just a 61 mil box, that's the blue box.
That's the blue box, and also that's the yellow box, which is the 20 millimeter box, which will take things like your mineral wagons or baby bolsters, that sort of thing, really. I know we've shown quite old stock in our demonstration, but it's not to say that the more current stock or the more relevant stock to modern day modern image stuff doesn't go in our boxes. Anything that's on the market at the moment will go in our boxes. Yeah. It just depends on what box you choose.
And as Carl said, some of the Caledonian coaches and earlier coaches are somewhat narrower, so we find people go for the the 61 millimeter width boxes.
Which is
if I can make a comment, this is a comment rather than a question, but I rather like the idea of the use of this type of foam, which is not only does it hold the models quite firmly by all accounts, but it's also pliable enough for you to be able to remove the things fairly easily and safely. In a previous existence, I had the job of repairing models that were returned to the manufacturers having been damaged. Now, this was a company who had I just say they had a brief flirtation with O-gauge live steam. You probably know who I'm referring to, but their models came packed in a very hard, well, foam rubber, I suppose it was, and they were so tightly wedged into the box. The only way you could get a loco out, steam loco, for example, was to put your fingers inside the cab and pull, and that resulted in you pulling the cab side sheets off.
Yeah.
And nearly every repair we had the damage was the same. It was the cab that had been pulled to pieces because they were such a tight fit in the box. The only way to get them out.
Well, that was the thing. That's why we used, because originally we brought out the boxes with the 61mm width slots, and we found that was just that bit too tight for people. So we amended that to 68mm, not moving away the 61mm at all, but we just found that certain people like the stock in either quite tightly packed or it's loose enough so they had better access.
But the foam isn't the same as you're describing, Dave.
No, it's very...
No, certainly not. I take it also that foam isn't of the type which deteriorates if left exposed to UV light. The sort of stuff that they cushions with, for example, the yellow foam, if that's left outside or even indoors, exposed to UV, it goes powdery after a period of time.
Yeah,
it decomposes.
So we've got between us about 11 years history with this foam. We use it in a different industry, in the electronics industry, and it's never failed us in the electronics that we ship anywhere around the world. It doesn't deteriorate, as you rightly described, Dave, nor does it expose any oil. Some foams seem to have issues with the or create issues with paintwork and those kinds of things. We've never experienced any of that in our electronics components that we distribute, chassis and so on and so forth. And the reason we've gone for this foam, it also makes it much easier to get the locomotives and the coaches and the wagons in and out, because you can, as you rightly say, get your fingers into that slot if you need to, without having to break off any of that, that really delicate stuff. I'm just conscious, Dave, that we've only got 3 minutes. This time has whizzed past, and so
We've actually got, where are we? I've lost my timetable.
I thought we had...
yes, 12:50. Yes, you're right. It is 12:15. But
we would just like to thank you and the rest of the team at the Gauge Guild group for asking us along today to demonstrate, or allowing us to come along to demonstrate. This is our third appearance at one of your events, and if we're in any way supporting our colleagues with the safe shipment of their stock, it makes it much easier when you go to exhibitions to get the stock in and out. Carl and I and Tony support the Grinley Brook layout. That is an excellent layout from the Hillingdon group of modelers, the Hillingdon Railway Modelers Society. We're members of that society. We're on the dark side, I'm afraid. We're double O gauge modelers ourselves, but we go along and support the O gauge group when they tour. Well, when we can get back to touring, and we'll be back on the road soon with a bit of luck. And it's amazing how much of a difference it's made to them setting up their formations for their layout. And we're just really proud to have been able to support those guys, because they've created a fantastic model. There are some fantastic layouts on the circuit today, and if it makes people's lives easier and simpler to get their formations set up and put back in the boxes, there's no more fumbling around looking for the right box for the right coach or the right wagon. When you've got a rake of 40 odd wagons, it can take up to 2 hours to pack up. Nowadays, it takes them 10 minutes, and we're in the back of the So thank you very much indeed for inviting us along today.
Just before you go, there is another question that Tony has asked.
Yeah.
He's asking how many wagons would you get in a 20-litre box?
We would say up to 16 with safety. So as Carl said, with the press flows, we reckon that we can get 16. We can get 4 of those press flows in each of those 560mm slots. So divide it up. Make sure you've got a little bit of space to put a little bit of foam in between the 2 wagons, so that you're not going to damage them with sliding around or anything like that. They don't slide; they're held pretty tightly anyway. But a little precaution, a little bit of foam in between each one, and you're good to go. To be honest with you, Andy. So thank you for that, for reminding us that. I did overlook that question.
The only other question I've got here is the foam from the slots. If you end up with bits that are left over, is it recyclable?
It is if you take it to the appropriate recycling centre. So if you go to your community centre recycling plant, they will happily take it. It is recyclable. Yeah.
Right. And the only other one is how did the idea come about for these boxes?
Because we saw when we were supporting the O-Gauge group, there was a lot of cursing going on when they were trying to pack their coaches back. There are lots of people. There's an excellent product, for example, from 10 Commandments. We always recognize those guys because they set the scene. Now, what we've tried to do is use a slightly bigger box, accommodate more wagons. In particular, we're focusing on the O-Gauge group to support them and their efforts. And we believe we've got something in the market that's quite unique for that purpose.
Well, there wasn't anything available at the time, because initially we was going to go 00 down the road of 00, and then when we was going around the exhibitions and the shows and that, we just saw there wasn't anything for O-Gauge, and that's where we decided to go O-Gauge first before we moved on to 00.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys, and thank you, Andy. We shall see you two, Carl and Mark, later this afternoon. At what time is it? Let's have a look. 3 o'clock.
Yep.
Yeah.
3 o'clock for a second session.
Yeah, lovely.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody, and thanks everybody for watching. We really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Bye for now. I'm closing the meeting now.
Thanks, Dave. Bye-bye.